What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got the reveal of the new Keyforge set. Now, we knew this was coming. A couple of weeks ago, they gave us this as a date for the new set. Not entirely sure why Transformers had to release their new set today as well, or at least reveal it, but I suppose that just gives us two hideously exciting videos on the same day, which I don't think is something we can be particularly upset about. It is mass mutation, and I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we did a couple of prediction videos and rumour videos based on this set. I'll link them in the description. We were spot on, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what is very interesting is that this is the first set made entirely by the internal team. Reading between the lines, that means that Richard Garfield, he who created Magic the Gathering, not involved in this set like he was in the previous ones. It has also been described as the craziest set yet, and there are three very exciting things that we need to chat about in this video. But we've also lost Brobnar, and we've brought Sanctum back in. Now, we thought this was going to happen. This is what we thought we saw on the blurry side of the starter deck from the Crucible cast a couple of weeks ago. This has been confirmed. What that means is, and this is very sad for me on a personal level, still no Mars. Sanctum have come back after one set away. Mars are still gone. Still no Mars. We will get Mars back. Mars will come back, and I would be extremely confident predicting that they'll be back in set 5, which will be coming out in November. But they're not back in this set. 2 sets in a row, no Mars, boo, hiss, etc. You'll also notice from the product image that they've brought back all the types of products that we had previously, except for the Premium Collection. That big fancy one. The Worlds Collide Premium box. There we go. There is no Mass Mutation Premium box. As a man who got one of these for Christmas as a present from his brother-in-law, can confirm they're awesome. So maybe they just didn't sell well enough. I don't know. Now, one of the big things coming in Mass Mutation is this idea of enhancement. There are cards around that can enhance your existing cards. Now, the one shown off on the live stream, that weirdly enough does not seem to have been mentioned in the article. Don't worry, we've collected all the news from the live stream and the article. I've got your back. Was Hystricog. Now, Hystricog is a disc creature, 4 power, 0 armor, and it's got an action whereby you may destroy a damaged creature. But it's also got enhanced damage, damage, damage. What that means is, when Hystricog comes into your deck, 3 damage icons will be distributed amongst the cards in your deck. And they will look kind of like the amber symbol looks on a time traveler. But the really cool thing here is, they could go on any card in your deck. So you could potentially have a time traveler, which has an amber bonus, and has what I'm going to call a damage bonus or a damage enhancement. Now, these symbols don't come in randomly. They must be brought in by something like a Hystricog, but as soon as a Hystricog comes up in your deck, 3 cards in your deck will have damage icons on them, and when you play those cards, you deal 1 damage to one of your opponent's creatures. We were also shown another example of this, and that is Armory Officer Nell, a new Grand Star Alliance creature, 4 power, 0 armor. After an upgrade enters play, you draw a card, and bearing in mind, right, the Grand Star Alliance, at least in Worlds Collide, they were well into their upgrades, so this is a really good ability to have on a Grand Star Alliance card, but it's got enhanced, draw a card. So, when you have Armory Officer Nell in your deck, 1 card in your deck will have that symbol, which means you get to draw a card. Now, for anyone wondering, there are 4 symbols. Amber, when you play the card, you gain an amber. We've had that since School of the Archons. Capture, when you play this card, you capture an amber. Damage, when you play this card, deal 1 damage to one of your opponent's creatures. And draw, when you play this card, draw 1 card. It is also worth mentioning here, with capture, it does not have to be the creature with the capture icon that captures the amber. A capture icon says that any friendly creature may capture 1 amber. And that is very important because we've got a couple of rules about enhancement we've been told. Each card can have a total of 5 enhancements. We've not been shown any cards with enhancements. We're told they'll be shown off on the Crucible cast on Saturday, but we don't have them now. They come up in the top left-hand corner like we saw with the amber on Time Traveler. And this will actually give unique cards. You might be the only person in the world that gets a Snufflegator with 2 damage, 2 amber, and a capture. I want to be that person. They can enhance themselves, and even though each individual card can only have 5 enhancements, that's literally what will fit on the card physically, your deck can have, they said in the Crucible cast, or the live stream, your deck can have 25 plus. So each individual card is limited, but not your deck as a whole. And you can get these enhancements on artifacts, actions, etc., which is very important because an action can't capture an amber, which is very cool. One example they did give in the live stream, they actually had a gateway to Dis with a damage icon. Now initially that looks kind of rubbish because of course gateway to Dis destroys every creature. Why would you need to do a damage when you're destroying every creature anyway? But remember that in Worlds Collide, we were introduced to warding, like Hologramophone is an artifact that can ward a creature. And when you put a ward counter on, that means that the next time the creature would be destroyed, damaged, or otherwise removed from play, you remove the ward counter, the creature survives. So a ward counter would protect you from Gateway to Dis, but Gateway to Dis with a damage symbol does a damage and then destroys you, which is kind of hilarious. If all works well, I've actually put a little damage symbol on the Gateway to Dis. That is just me playing around editing. It's not actually what the cards look like. Like I said, we'll see them a little bit later. So that's all very exciting. But we're also going to have mutated existing creatures. You see, this is the first set that actually has a proper story. And the story in a nutshell is a couple of Archons go to the mountains, have a little bit of a fight. One Archon wins. Hey, I've won the fight. Let's go open up a vault. It's kind of the point of Keyforge. And in the vault there is nothing but blue, black, dark, amber. And then, as with amber, you give it to people and trade it and all of that, and it makes its way through the Crucible, and people get mutated. Like Rad Penny. Rad Penny, of course, very much being a mutated version of Bad Penny. Now, as a quick side note here, it was confirmed Bad Penny is not in the set because canonically, in the timeline we're playing, Bad Penny doesn't exist. Bad Penny has been mutated into Rad Penny. And on these mutated cards, you can see that amber, which has mutated them. You can still get Bad Penny as a legacy card, but I'm fairly sure what they were saying was any card that comes in as a mutation cannot be in the set properly, but it can appear as a legacy. And you'll notice that Rad Penny still has the keyword thief, but also has the keyword mutant rather than the keyword human, which is very cool. And Bad Penny and Rad Penny are not the same creature. Rad Penny is still a 1 power 0 armor creature, but when you play you steal an amber, and when it's destroyed you shuffle Rad Penny into your deck, rather than doing nothing and going back to your hand when destroyed. Unless you've got some weird combo going on with something like Seeker Needle, Rad Penny is way better than Bad Penny. But we have been given a couple of other examples as well. How about Snorette, which is a mutated version of Charette? Now again, we've got 4 power 0 armor. Although this wasn't confirmed, it certainly does appear that mutated versions of characters have the same power level. Now again, we've lost the demon keyword and gained mutant. And instead of capturing 3 when you play, you capture 1 at the end of your turn. But there is an action whereby you move each amber from Snorette to the common supply. So whereas Charette you capture it and just wait for your opponent to destroy Charette and get it back, Snorette you can actually get the amber yourself. And remember that we've got that capture amber enhancement now, So there's going to be decks out there where there's multiple capture symbols, so you can play Snoret, gain a bunch of amber, capture a bunch using your other cards, and then move it to your common pool. Snoret is a card that excites me very much indeed. And we also saw the example of Bulwark, not to be confused with Bulwark, although they are basically the same card. We've just added an L and a dash. Now, weirdly here, we've lost an armor. Power is the same. Armor is not the same. It's gone from 4-2 to 4-1. And whereas with Bulwark, the old one, each of its neighbors gets +2 armor, the new one gains Assault 2. When it attacks before the fight happens, 2 damage is dealt to the defending creature. And it gives each of its neighbors Assault 2. So that kind of seems like fun. 3 examples there. There are definitely others. We're going to look at this properly in a minute. But if we have a little bit of a look at the montage, you can see that there is Buff Gruen. It's an enhanced fuzzy Gruen. We don't know what it is. But can we all just agree right now to call it Buff Gruen? That would make me extremely happy. So can we all just agree? Buff Gruen. I appreciate it. Now, the other thing they showed us was that you can have some creatures that come in different forms. So they showed us a trio of creatures here. Dino-bot, yet not that kind of Dino-bot in this game. Lyco-bot and Umbra-bot. All fairly similar creatures, no armor and free 4 or 5 power. And you can clearly see that Dino-bot is logos, but it's kind of Saurian Republic. Lyco-bot is kind of Untamed, and Umbra-bot is kind of Shadows, I think. Tell me I'm an idiot in the comment section if you disagree. So Umbra-bot has got Elusive, and when you reap, you discard a card from your hand and draw a card. Lyco-bot's got Skirmish, and when you reap, you discard a card from your hand, and if you do, you draw a card. And Dino-bot, you may exalt Dino-bot, and if you do, you deal free to a creature. And then when you reap, you discard a card from your hand. If you do, draw a card. So you can see you've got the same reap skill on all of them, but they are a little bit different. I mean, if you look at them, Saurian Republic are more powerful generally than Untamed, which are more powerful generally than Shadows. And Shadows tend to be elusive. Untamed have a lot of skirmish, and Dinobots, or, dinosaurs, love exalting. That's kind of cool. Don't know if we'll see more of these, but I do love that there's a little bit of a trio. And if you don't think there aren't 3 more bots for the other 3 non-logos houses, I believe you are a little bit mistaken. Oh yeah, and we're getting massive creatures. Might I introduce you to Deusillus, a 20 power, 0 armor creature. That is to say, it is beating the, frankly, not very long-lasting record of Gargantodon by a full 25%. Now, when you play it, you capture all of your opponent's amber, bearing in mind you're a 20 power creature, so they ain't getting it back easily, and you deal 5 damage to an enemy creature. And when you fight or reap, you move 1 amber from Deusillus to the common supply, and deal 2 damage to each enemy creature. And that's when you fight or reap. That is a phenomenal over-the-top creature. It is definitely overpowered. There must be a downside. There is. The downside is that it's a double card, and it can only be played when you play both sides of the card at once. Now, it was confirmed in the stream that these count as 1 card when in play, but 2 cards in your deck and hand. So, for instance, there is a card that lets you search out 1/2, but it will only let you search out 1/2. Similarly, if we look at a card like Exhume, it lets you recover a creature from your discard pile and play it. That would only let you get 1/2 of the card. I.e., if you play Exhume, you've either got to play 2 to play this, or you've got to already have 1/2 in your hand, then you play Exhume to get the other half, and then you're allowed to play it. These cards don't let you get both at once. However, it can be played turn 1. So even though it is 1 card when played, 2 cards when in hand, as you play it, it is 1 card. So you can play it turn 1 going first when you would usually only be allowed to play 1 card. And then similarly, one would imagine that Ember Imp, that limits you to playing 2 cards per turn, you could play this and then still play another card, because this only counts as 1 card. Now they're really the new mechanics, enhanced, mutations and massive creatures, but we need to go back to this idea of Brobnar being out and Sanctum being back in. So Brobnar and Mars are out, the other 7 houses are still here. And they said they wanted to bring Sanctum back because they've got healing and capturing and board resilience. And they did point out this is the first set where they will be able to interact with the Saurian Republic and the Grand Star Alliance. They did say that they are going to be smaller creatures power-wise than they were in the past, but apparently they will make up for it. And they are a little more aggressive, but then we've taken out Brobnar, who are the aggressive fighty house, so we kind of need to make up for it in the other houses. Generally speaking though, and this fits in with the story of the set, they don't like this whole Dark Amber. So looking at Beryon, which is one of the cards that was revealed in the live stream but not the article, 5 power, 2 armor. After a mutant creature enters play, you enrage Beryon. When you reap, you capture 2 amber. To be fair, 5 power, 2 armor, capture 2 when you reap is awesome. But when a mutant creature enters play, you enrage Beryon, which is to say you give it an enrage counter, and the next time it's used, if there is a valid target to fight, it must be used to fight. If there is no valid target, you can still reap, but you don't lose the enrage counter, you only lose it when you fight. And they did mention in the live stream that they didn't feel like Enrage was used well enough or really enough in set 3, so they really are pushing it a little bit in set 4. And if we take a quick look at the flavor text of Beryon here, the red shroud will defend the crucible from the threat of Dark Amber. Sanctum not loving Dark Amber. But remember that bulwark I showed you a minute ago? They are not immune to this Dark Amber, and they very much do see it. Now, they did tell us that there are going to be some decks that really do come across as mutant or anti-mutant decks. That is to say, they have lots of mutants or synergies within, or lots of anti-mutant synergy. And we got a couple of cards we could look at here. Ardent Hero, another Sanctum creature. It's a 4 power 0 armor creature with taunt. You can't attack its neighbors, you have to attack it. And it cannot be dealt damage by either mutant creatures or creatures with power 5 or higher. It's literally immune to big creatures and mutants. Very much an anti-mutant thing. We were also shown Gozzleheart's Wrath. It is a Sanctum card with an amber bonus, and when you play it, you destroy each mutant creature. Clearly, Sanctum are anti-mutant, but like I've said, they're not immune to mutant. And yes, if you've got Gozzleheart's Wrath, and you've got a Bulwark down, it's a mutant, it very much would be destroyed as well. Now, a couple of little notes here. They did say that anomalies are coming back, but only the anomalies from Worlds Collide. They did not give any specific examples. They didn't say whether they're all coming back, etc. What they did say was, there are anomalies, but there are no new anomalies, only potentially the 10 we got in Worlds Collide. No confirmation they're all in there. There are no new tokens, so like we saw in Worlds Collide with Enrage and Ward, no new tokens. And the release date is May 2020, which means it is very unlikely to be legal for Worlds or the UK Vault Tour, because it takes 11 days for sets to become legal. Unless it's a sealed Vault Tour, which it was last year, to be fair. Now, the last piece of information I've got for you here, and there's a lot. This is a fairly long video, but come on, so much excitement. We've got a little collage of pictures, like we tend to get with a new set announcement, and we can't see all that much, and half of them are covered, but let's take a look at the ones we can actually see. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the cards behind, but we can see that we've got Buff Gruen. I'm still psyched about this. Still psyched about it. Now, in terms of the front row, which we can see a little bit about, the Shadowsmith gives each mutant creature elusive. It is a Shadows card. Honorable Claim is a Sanctum card that gives you an amber bonus. It is an action, and when you play it, each friendly knight creature captures 1 amber. That's some pretty good capturing. Hayden Oswin is a 2-power 0-armor creature, and when you reap, you gain 1 amber for each upgrade on Hayden Oswin. We can actually see the whole card. Like we could have Honorable Claim, I suppose. Like we said earlier, there's a lot of upgrades in Star Alliance, so this is very good. Secura Droid is a 4-power 0-armor creature with Taunt, and it may be played as an upgrade instead. This creature gains Taunt. We can't actually see that, but if we look at something like Explo Rover, for instance, it has Skirmish, and you may play it as an upgrade, and if you do, it gives the creature Skirmish. It's kind of the way the robots work, so even though we can't see that it says they gain Taunt, they definitely gain Taunt. And Dark Centurion is a 5-power Saurian creature that may or may not have armor. It gives 2 enhancements, yay! And it's got an action that moves 1 amber from a creature to the common supply. If you do, ward that creature. So it's nice to see that the Saurian Republic are still warding. We will look more into these cards a little bit later when we're really focusing in on the new cards. We don't really have time today. But now that reveal season for Wave 4 has started, you have my word that when there is news to share, when there are new cards, when we have new information, you know I'm going to be there. It's kind of my thing, and I'm kind of obsessed with Keyforge, so I got your back. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I've told you enough about the new set. I've told you literally everything I know, and I've been digging for info. I would now like to know what you think. What do you think of these new mechanics? How excited are you? Go nuts in the comment section, but please remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk Transformers and Keyforge and Final Fantasy and a lot of games, to be honest. Come join in the fun. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, all that good stuff. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.